exactly is Irving experiencing right now? This sense of dread, this anxiety where you feel like your world is closing up when you see something that's bringing about something within yourself, how accurate is that really? This definitely happens to people. We can end up having something that brings up, elicits a memory, a feeling, a sense of possibly doom, sometimes imagery. These are specific post-traumatic flashbacks and responses, and they are innate to human nature, especially when you've gone through something traumatic. And what happens is that you end up going through a fight or flight response. For Irving, it's the light that's in the ceiling that elicits a memory that is repressed or something that is linked to your fear center. And it could also be, sometimes it's a smell, sometimes it's a feeling, or even hearing a sentence or a noise that brings these feelings that you might have repressed deeply into your subconscious. Now, yes, we talked about repressed feelings a lot in the 80s and 90s, and it started off with Freud, but it does happen. Sometimes we go through something that is so painful that our mind blocks it out because we're not ready to process it, or we can't. And so it can sometimes creep up in other areas of our life that can be really damaging or scary for us. And this is protective to us. We are remembering something bad that happened to us, and so our body's going into fight or flight because we're sensing something that reminds us of that situation. If you feel a sense of dread when you go into a dark cave because something bad happened to you in that dark cave, it gets us pre-prepared to run or fight or faint or fawn to be able to handle the situation better. So no, not all triggers, not anxieties, mean that are bad for us per se, but going through it, especially if it's repressed, especially when you don't know why, can be a really scary experience.
We lose you again there, buddy? Irv?
I have to go to O&D. And I'd like to seek Bert's counsel.
And it can be really difficult to be able to process it. A lot of times, this is because you've gone through something really traumatic. And that can end up having us either perpetuate that imagery in our mind, it can continue to play over, especially when we start to deal with, process that set of feelings. Sometimes that can make us go through almost an obsessional state with wanting to have to deal with it. When we're doing something over and over again in our head, that often means that our brain wants to solve that problem. It wants to find a solution so that it doesn't happen to us again. But there's many different ways that we can process things. For some people, they might process it through talking about it, thinking about it, music, imagery, dance, or even art. And that can be really helpful, but you want to be able to process the emotions, not just the imagery in that, to be able to understand that better. Where sometimes that would be better to do that with a professional than just doing it with yourself. Once you open that up, when that wound kind of bursts, that can sometimes create this volcano, this avalanche of feelings and emotions that can be difficult to deal with. And so having a professional being able to help you and process that in a way that can be healthy, not maladaptive, can be a really good tool. Because sometimes we'll end up feeling overwhelmed by that and then want to run away from it and then need alcohol or getting self-absorbed in something or working all the time so that we don't have to process these feelings that we may not have the tools to be able to deal with.
Be careful, I tell you!
And yes, we can end up obsessing over something, being stuck in that moment, having it replay, which can feel really traumatizing, like we're haunted by this thought or memory and those feelings that are there with that, which can cause a massive amount of distress to our system, especially when we don't understand why or what happened. So what exactly do we do when we are stuck in those kind of positions? So Irving's going through that with art, and art therapy can be really helpful, especially with imagery that you don't know why, but sometimes also confronting these feelings, these thoughts, this imagery can be really scary for us because that's the reason why it was repressed in the first place. Often our mind does that because it's not sure that we'll be able to continue to survive, to be able to cope in a healthy way. So it just blocks them all out. So if you are going to go through that, you want to make sure that you have a support system around you to be able to help you through it. And then start slowly, be kind to yourself, and also work through the thoughts, the negative thoughts that you might have towards yourself. A lot of times we're the cruelest people to ourselves. We might not be cruel to everyone else around us, but going through something that was horrible or traumatic, we might have judgment or feelings of negative self-talk to who we are and judge ourselves for feeling that way or blame ourselves for going through something that was difficult. And that's the part that is really, really damaging. A lot of times, the abuser is ourselves. And you don't want to allow that abuse of self to live rent-free in your head. If you say nothing to abuse and bullying, you're saying it's okay. And in a lot of cases, we're the cruelest critics. But why exactly is Irving obsessing about these paintings? I think that there's a huge secret that you can see that has this light go off in my head of the paintings that you might not have recognized at first. And that often is also what happens with these repressed memories, that they open up this piece, this secret that unravels, and little pieces of what you might have gone through. What exactly could have Irving gone through? Well, it's interesting because I think that Miss Casey's episode where she's walking down this hallway gives us a clue, a key to what might have happened to Irving.
Do you know if I'm happy up there?
Of course. You do all sorts of wonderful things.
Now, this is the scene that I think gives us the clue of what exactly might have happened to Irving and a little bit of who exactly is Irving. And let's see if you can figure it out on your own. The clue of Irving's painting to what happens to Miss Casey. Let's see if you figure it out before I say it, because I thought this was mind-blowing.
I just have so much to do today. On you go.
Did you figure it out? Irving's paintings, which often happens with repressed memories, that it opens up keys of clues of what you've gone through. So who exactly was Irving? The clues in the paintings. Was he the person walking down the hallway? Because if he was, he would have never seen the red light. That only happens when the elevator has closed. So he was actually Mr. Milchick, someone working for Lumen and then brought to the inside. And so he has repressed this memory because of something horribly traumatic, perhaps that huge battle that happened in his department. Maybe that was a huge battle that he witnessed and had to deal with. So I think these are a few of the clues as to why Irving had to repress all of these memories and now is working as his outie so fervently to be able to fix a mistake that he feels like he had to participate in. And that's the entire reason why I started this channel, to help all of those people that are seeing their own dark hallway. I really wanted to be able to reach more people than I could just in my own practice. And I thought that I could do that by starting my own channel and mixing media as a way to be able to help people understand their own psychology in a way that is more comfortable for them. I don't think that everyone feels comfortable going to see a therapist. And I don't think that talk therapy is the right way to deal with your issues for everyone. You want to find your own path. But anxiety is a growing epidemic, with 40 million people in the US alone coping with it. And that's the problem with anxiety. It's that it sucks away your happiness. The more territory you give anxiety, it will just take more. And if you don't deal with it, it's one of those things that will just get worse over time. You shouldn't have to live with a constant feeling of dread or fear or this want to be able to control things, because the things that you control in the end up controlling you. And so that's why I created a course on how to deal with anxiety. It is my way of giving out all the information that I would give in sessions so you can do it in the comfort of your own home at the pace that you want to. And I go through concrete tips and techniques like I would go through in the sessions, along with the homework that you can do to be able to help yourself. Anxiety is not something that you have to live with. And so this is a great way to help you or someone else that you know be able to breathe a little bit more easily. So you can check out my course on how to beat anxiety on Nebula, along with a lot of other amazing Nebula classes. Nebula is also the place where you can see my videos first, my compilation videos, and stuff that would never ever be able to happen on YouTube. They also have other great videos such as Angela Collier's How Star Trek Picard Ruins Star Trek. Yes, Jessie Gender's After Dark Daredevil Born Again series premiere review, Patrick H. Williams, Patrick Replies, What's Next After Superhero Movies? I'm not sure, we did zombies, then we did superheroes, what could be next? And also exclusive originals like Lindsay Ellis's We Don't Talk About E.T. I did, but we don't. All ad-free, sponsor-free, and if you sign up using my exclusive link below, hopefully you do, you get an annual plan of Nebula for 40% off, $36 a year, $6 a month, and clicking on that link really does help out this channel, even if you are just trying it out. And that's all early access, all extended versions, all the courses, originals from amazing Nebula creators. So just click on that link below, and thank you to Nebula for your support, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Let me know what your thoughts are on Severance and Irving's journey in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.